Very few political entities could rival the Romans during their long existence. The Carthaginians, Parthians, and Nubians all come to mind, the latter of which I made a video series exploring. Another kingdom that comes to mind when thinking about Rome's foes is the Kingdom of Dacia. The Kingdom of Dacia was founded in the year 82 after a man named Burebista fought a series of wars to conquer and unite the Dacian tribes, and later crowned himself their king. Even before Burebista and his conquests, smaller kingdoms in the Carpathian Basin had arisen, giving the Romans problems with raiding for hundreds of years. We're not quite sure how large this kingdom was. We know for sure that the region surrounding the Carpathian Mountains, present-day Transylvania region of Romania, was the heartland and where the capital city Sarmizegetusa sat. Roman accounts from this time say that the kingdom extended into what was present-day Austria and Germany and Czechia. There is even an account from Julius Caesar saying that it extended up to the edge of the present-day Black Forest in Germany. All that being said, I would say that Dacia proper was in the Pannonian Plain, the Carpathian Basin, the Carpathian Mountains, and then the plains towards the Black Sea, and everything else was somewhat controlled. They may have conquered it, maybe under their control, but not really part of the state long term. So just think that the present-day borders of Romania was pretty much the heartland of the Dacian kingdom. The kingdom grew very wealthy due to gold mines that it controlled, and because of the trade routes. Dacia traded with the Romans, but also served as a middleman between the Germanic tribes and the Roman Empire, and also with the Illyrians. The Dacians were the descendants of Thracians that had moved northwards from Thrace in the Greek peninsula. Their heritage heavily influenced their culture, language, religion, and styles of warfare. Additionally, the Dacians took lots of influence from the Scythians, who neighbored them to the east. Eventually, the Dacians would even begin to incorporate some of the religious beliefs of the Scythians, in particular the belief in the Scythian deity Zalmoxis. And later on, Roman and Greek historians would talk about how the Dacians would even bring some of the Scythian ways of war, such as mounted horse archers, into their culture, although I'm not sure to what extent that really played later on in Dacia's history. Burebista ruled his kingdom for about 40 years until his death in 44 BC. While on paper the kingdom still somewhat existed, at least culturally, the reality is that 5 independent states had kind of formed in its remains. These 5 kingdoms all kind of interacted with each other and the Romans. In fact, Augustus, Rome's first emperor, betrothed his daughter to the Dacian king Cotizo in an attempt to form a political alliance of some sort. While the 5 kingdoms never posed a true threat to Rome on their own, Cotizo would raid across the Danube into Roman territory when the river would freeze. This status quo of a somewhat pacified region that was also kind of a vassal of Rome, but not really, stayed this way until he ruled the final Dacian king, Decebalus. Decebalus led a campaign against Domitian, and after achieving success, he was able to re-solidify their rule in the Carpathian Basin, and he once again began to consolidate power on the fringe of the Roman Empire, extending and consolidating territory on the Black Sea coast, a region in which Rome had been expanding its own influence. Recognizing the growing power of Decebalus, Emperor Trajan grew increasingly worried about the stability and safety of the wealthier provinces to the east. His worries proved to be true when the frequency of raids began to pick up, and reports of Decebalus receiving troops and envoys from Germanic tribes in the region arrived in Rome. Trajan decided to act and ordered the full-scale invasion of Dacia to end the threat once and for all.